Good.
Yeah.
All right, so we're here to get with Joe today.
Hey,
and,
folks.
Joe, our goal is this year to get you down to a, what, 4.9 you said?
4.9.
4.9, and I think we put that on the simple golf last week, get Joe down to 4.9.
Yeah.
This hopefully will help him do that. So we're going to talk today a little bit about pre-shot routine.
Okay.
When you want to be a consistent golfer, what is a word that is the same as consistent?
Oh boy, I'm not an English major.
Four-letter word starts with an S.
I'm going to keep it kid-friendly.
Keep it kid-friendly. Same. Exactly. So we want to do the same thing every time. We want to be a more consistent golfer, and that's what I think is going to help you,
right,
to be a better golfer. Is as we're watching golf on TV, we see the golfers do the same thing all the time.
Okay.
And that is pre-shot routine. All the time. They don't just go stand up to the ball, okay, I'm going to hit it. It's a pre-shot routine. No matter if it's a putt, a chip, a 100-yard shot, a 200-yard shot, or a drive. You do the same exact thing all the time. So what I mean by pre-shot routine is how you line yourself up to the ball, how you take your practice swing, where you take your practice swing, and what you do with it comes out in the result of your actual swing itself.
Okay.
So pre-shot routine, I'm going to kind of go through it with you. I'll have you stand back there for a second. So a typical pre-shot routine, and I'm doing my pre-shot routine right now. You can do it in any different way you want, but it should be all the same as far as how I line myself up, how I'm taking my practice swing, what I do before I swing the club. So what I like to do is, I'll get my back to the camera here for a second, but I always stand behind my ball and I'm looking at my target, and what I do is I kind of imagine my target line. Once I got that target line, I'm not actually even looking at the target itself until I do my last moment of bits. So I'm looking at a spot in front of my ball. This is helping me line up to the target. So I'm picking my spot here. I take my practice swing right here. One practice swing. If it doesn't feel right, I'll take another one. And then what I'll do is stand up to the ball, take my grip, look at my target, waggle, and go. And then I'll take my swing. That's my pre-shot routine. It didn't, you can come on back in, Joe. It didn't take but 15 seconds to do that.
Yep.
It doesn't waste any time, but you're doing the exact same thing every single time. Even for a putt, do stand behind it. Like we had a lesson with Gary earlier. He looked at it from one side, he looked at it from the other side, he looked at it from the... You have time to do this. You're not holding up play unless you're taking a huge amount of time to look at it. Same with chips, same with putts.
Okay.
Give it a time. Do you have a pre-shot routine?
I do.
Okay, let's see it.
I do. So I again come from behind. And all this is right now is just obviously clearing the brain and then refocusing on just the target.
Perfect. I like how you're explaining this. This is great.
So I clear, I visualize exactly how I want the shot to go from that point here. And again, just making sure everything looks right. My practice swing similar to yours. It's going to come in here right next to the ball. Make sure grip is good. A couple swings. It's usually not more than two.
Good.
And then it's just go. So what I do is I try to get the club head like where I'm comfortable with the club head behind the ball and I know it's square, hands, grip, everything. Feet, a couple little shifts.
He takes the swing.
And then go.
Wonderful. So you can always change your pre-shot routine up, but as long as you're doing the same thing during your round, changing your pre-shot routine up during your round, that might kind of mess up your rhythm and things like that. But what you did right there is wonderful. One thing that I do sometimes one round and I do another round is I'll take my practice swing back here on the line. That might help me get a little visual, a better visual of the target. But for the most part, doing a pre-shot routine is going to help me get a better shot.
Yeah, I think for me the biggest thing was when I'm standing behind the ball there. I know for me, if I'm playing well, I'm doing a really good job of blocking everything out where there's no noise, no nothing.
Yeah,
like I don't hear the music coming from the cart. I don't hear anything. Like visualizing, I'm literally watching the ball fly as I'm standing behind it.
Yeah.
And that is that part of the pre-shot routine has really helped me then get into a spot where I'm here and I'm comfortable over the ball and I can just go.
Correct. And it always gets me as a golfer watching people golf on TV is how they're easily distracted. And yeah, there's thousands of people watching you and there's noises going on all around you, but when you're playing golf out recreationally, there's noises around you as well.
Right.
I mean, people aren't going, distracting you like that, but you should be able to block that out. As a good golfer, you should always be able to block out any noises you hear. If a jet's flying over you, if there's birds squawking, if there's people, a lot of people nowadays like to listen to radio or listen to their music while they're playing golf.
Yep.
If you can block that out, you're a much better golfer. That means that you're letting things outside dictate what you're doing on the golf course. So yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, my biggest struggle, I would say, is any tip to, we've worked many years, and Greg and I were talking about this before we hit the record button earlier about, as far as the progression of my game, really kind of getting down to that single, that 4.9 handicap, and that's going to, that's a tough deal. But a lot of my struggles is not because of, there's still some swing issues, but for the most part, the swing is pretty solid. It's okay. It's good structure to it. It's that mentality and that thought process of how do you get yourself out of, I'm going to have bad shots, so I'm going to take doubles on a hole. I might top one or hit one, just to refocus, and just to mentally stay in it, to grind through that.
All right. Here's a good point to that. Play a lot more match play golf, even when you're playing stroke play golf. And what I mean by that is, stroke play is when you hit every shot and every shot counts towards your score. Match play is you're playing hole by hole. There's 9 holes on the golf course if you're just playing 9 holes. If you can beat the course 5 out of 9, you've won your match. And what I mean by that is you're basically, I don't say make 5 pars on a hole, you also have handicap as well. So put your handicap in there as well and try to get par or better with handicap on those holes.
Okay.
If you're a scratch golfer, you should be fine. But we're not scratch golfers. We have handicaps. And so use that, and if you can play with your handicap and play better on 5 of the 9 holes, you've won your match. And then you'll look at your strokes for stroke play. You'll notice those are lower well. So watching this match play on TV this weekend, that really makes you a better golfer. If you're a better match play golfer than you are a stroke play golfer, it's going to relate over to the stroke play. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does. It's just like I said, it's trying to battle out of the mentality of letting one hole ruin the entire round.
Correct.
Because one hole is 20 minutes of a 4-hour day.
Correct.
And to let that ruin it.
Yeah, and if you get it on the first or second hole, you're already down for the rest of the day. Here's a good mental state. Now that you brought that up, stand on the first tee, whether you're playing a 9-hole league or 18-hole recreational match or even a tournament with your buddies. Stand on the first tee, and in your head, you're already 10 over par. Because now the mentality of that is you can either be mad at yourself, oh, now the whole day is going to be like that, or you can give yourself a challenge and say, okay, I'm 10 over par. What happens when you're out of something? You relax. Okay. You relax. You're already out of it, but you're not really out of it because you haven't started yet.
Right.
But mentally, you might be out of it. That might relax you a little bit more, and you might play better golf. You hit a few more birdies, then the next thing you know is, in your head, okay, I was 10 over, now I'm 8 over, but in reality, you're 2 under.
I'll take 2 under.
So a lot of things you can do mentally in this game can help your scores tremendously by just thinking differently than just hitting a golf ball and, oh, I got an 8 on that hole. Next hole, oh, I got a 6 on that hole. You make it mentally where you can be, as a better player, you can make yourself even better. So
makes sense.
Yep. Awesome.
Makes sense. So there you go, guys. Use your brain.
Use your brain.
Use your brain.
Good.